Dot School presents rounding off. Rounding off a number means approximating that number. In real life, it's a useful idea to round numbers so we can work with manageable numbers. Say when you go for shopping and quickly want to find out if you have enough money with you to buy something of your choice. Let's say when you are not carrying a calculator with you, neither you are carrying a piece of scratch paper or a pen or a pencil where you could do your calculations, and everything needs to be done mentally. You want to rely heavily on rounding. When we round a number, we do that to a certain place value, to the right or to the left of the decimal point. This is best explained through an example. Let's say we want to round the number 2563.7196 to the nearest 10, to the nearest 1000, to the nearest 100, which means two places after the decimal point. And finally to the nearest 1000. Which means three places after the decimal point. Please note that there's a difference between nearest thousandth and nearest thousandth with the th on. The thousandths place without the th is the 2 out here. So if you start counting from immediately left of the decimal point, I hope you already know that this is the ones place, this is the tens place, this is the hundreds place, and this one's the thousands place. And to the right of the decimal point, you have the tens place, the hundreds place, the thousands place. We have a 9 there in the thousands place, and so on. So to round this number to the nearest 10, which is the 6 out here, what we do is we look at the digit that's immediately to its right, which is 3. Now the rule is, if the digit immediately to the right of the digit we are rounding is less than 5, then this number stays the same, or this digit stays the same. So the 6 stays as a 6. So we start by writing that 6 down there. Everything to the left of the 6 stays the same. So it's still going to be a 2 and a 5 and a 6. And everything to the right of the 6 changes to a 0. So we have a 0.0000. All these zeros don't really matter. What it means is this number 2563.7196 would round to 2560 if rounded to the nearest 10. Rounding to the nearest 1000 means we want to round it to this place. Once again, we look to the immediate right, it's a 5. If it's less than 5, we would have left the 2 as is. But because this is a 5, if the next digit is 5 or more, this digit changes to the next higher digit, which is 3. Therefore, we are going to write a 3 there, and everything to the right of it changes to a 0. There's nothing to the left of it. Therefore, this rounds to 3000. When we want to round the same number to the nearest hundredth, which is this 1 over here, we look at its immediate right and find that the digit is a 9, which is 5 or more than 5. Therefore, this 1 changes to a 2, the next higher digit. Everything to its left stays the same, and everything to its right changes to a 0. Therefore, the answer is going to be 2563.7, the 1 changing to a 2, and the rest is 0. We can just do away with that. In fact, we shouldn't be writing anything after this because we are expected to round this to the nearest hundredth, which means we just need 2 digits after the decimal point. Now let's talk about rounding this number to the nearest thousandth. which is this 9 over here. Now obviously the next digit is a 6. Is 5 or more than 5? Therefore this 9 needs to round up. But we cannot write a 10 here over here because it's a single digit place. Therefore what we are going to do is, we are going to carry over this 1 from the 10 over to the previous digit. So this one should change to the next higher digit to make it 2, and the 0 should be placed over here, the 0 from the 10. So the answer is going to be 2563.720, and the digit after that, as you know, no longer stays the same, it changes to a 0. We don't need that because a thousands place means 3 places after the decimal point. Therefore, as you can see, there is no one single answer to rounding a number. It really depends on to what place value you're rounding that number. If you're rounding it to the nearest 10, it's a different answer from what you get when you round it to the nearest 1000. The rule, hopefully you know it by now. You look at the digit that you need to round and look at the next digit, to the one to the right of it. If it's a 5 or more than that, you round that digit to the next higher up. If it's less than 5, you keep it the same. Everything to the left of it stays the same. Everything to the right of it changes to a 0. You don't necessarily write those zeros down if they're after the decimal point. And then, if the digit itself is a 9 that needs to be rounded up, that 9 changes to a 10, which we cannot fit into one single digit. Therefore, we change the 9 to a 0 and round the previous digit to its next higher digit. Hope that helps.